Apple just spent millions of dollars to airlift 600 tons of iPhones from India to the United States. 600 tons. That's nearly 3 million iPhones flying through the air. Well, why would Apple burn millions on air freight? Why? When they could ship by boat for a fraction of the cost. Because they're racing against the clock to beat something much bigger than shipping costs: tariffs. Tariffs that are about to make everything in your life way more expensive. And you haven't even felt it yet. Here's the thing. You might think inflation is coming. You might think it's months away. But it's not. It's coming, and it's already here. Apple's airlift. Well, that's just the beginning. Corporate America is bracing for a storm, and it's not what the media is telling you. Oh no. Right now, cargo ships are waiting at American ports, warehouses. They're overflowing. And companies are stockpiling goods like it's the apocalypse. The big question? Why? Well, because tariffs are about to hit you harder than you realize. And by the time you feel it, well, I'm sorry, it'll be too late. The gap between when tariffs are imposed and when you feel the checkout, well, it's closing. And it's closing fast. I'm Dave Seymour. Look, I track this stuff obsessively. Now, not because I enjoy economic chaos, but because I help my clients navigate these exact kinds of crises with strategic real estate investing. We overcome the problem. What I'm seeing right now should have every American reevaluating their financial strategies. While politicians are stuck arguing about tariffs, smart money is moving. It's not sitting still. They're not debating, they're positioning. You see, it's important. Let's break this down. Here's what's actually happening. Since Trump's administration rolled out these tariffs, we've seen a dramatic shift in how companies are reacting. On April the 2nd, Liberation Day as he calls it, Trumpster imposed a 10% tariff on practically everything coming into America. Then he hit China with a 145% tariff on certain goods, 50% on steel and aluminum, and a retaliatory tariff like tit for tat on French wine and German cars. And here's the kicker. These tariffs are already raking in billions of dollars. The government's already collected over $113 billion from these tariffs. Well, that's $29 billion a month flowing into the federal coffers. But don't be fooled. That's money coming from you. You got it? From you. The question is, when will you start to feel it, and how much will it cost you? You see, the importer, right? Not China, but it's the importer that pays the tariff when goods arrive. That means when electronics shipment arrives at Long Beach, it's the American companies that are footing the bill. And guess what these companies do with their costs? They go up. And what do they do with that? Well, they pass it on to you. It's simple. But here's where it gets really interesting. While you haven't maybe felt the price hike yet, it's coming. And companies are already prepared. They know this day was coming, and they've been stockpiling inventory for months. Back in January, for example, before Trump even took office, they started buying up goods, maxing out their credit lines and filling warehouses. Apple airlifted 600 tons of iPhones to get ahead of the tariffs. Walmart, well, they stocked up on a year's worth of inventory, a whole year's worth of inventory. Best Buy loaded up on electronics as if the world was ending. And now, what have they done? They've built that cushion, and they're sitting on it until their stockpiles run out. Here's the real kicker. These buffers aren't going to last. They're running out right now. And once that inventory is gone, you'll start to feel it, I promise you. You might think that 2.7% inflation is no big deal, but that jump from 2.3 to 2.7, it's the biggest spike in years, and it's just the very beginning. Walmart, the giant that built its empire on everyday low prices, has already told investors to expect higher prices on electronics, toys, and clothing. Now, when Walmart raises prices, that affects 230 million people who shop there every single week. It's not just Walmart. Companies across the board are eating into their margins to stay competitive, but that can't last forever. AutoZone, well, they admitted they're passing 100% of the tariff costs onto its customers. Even Ferrari, as crazy as it sounds, is raising prices. But it's not just luxury cars or electronics. Columbia Sportswear did the math. A $100 jacket will soon cost $145. A $50 hoodie will cost you $73. Doesn't end there. Your kids' sneakers, add 45% to what you paid last time. Electronics, the next iPhone will cost you hundreds of dollars more. Food, even though most food isn't directly tariffed, all the costs associated with it, transportation, packaging, equipment, all those prices are going up. And those costs, well, they're getting passed on to you. Now, let me hit you with something a little more personal. I spoke with a client last week who runs a chain of restaurants. He told me his food costs are up 12% just from the secondary tariff effects. 12%. He's holding off for now on raising prices, but how long can he do that? The bottom line, this is the delayed inflation bomb I've been warning about for months now. Companies absorb these costs month after month, but now they're passing them on to you. And once that buffer runs out, well, it runs out. Prices will rise fast. And that's when things get really scary. You see, here's what happens when inflation hits. People start changing their buying behavior. People hold back on spending. And when that happens, the economy, well, it starts to slow down. Consumer spending accounts for about 70% of the US economy. And when it slows, everything sputters. Retail sales growth are already slowing. Credit card balances are already rising. And people are dipping into their savings just to keep up. And here's the scary part, the wage price spiral. Yeah, when prices rise, workers demand higher wages. But when companies pay higher wages, they raise prices even more. You see how it works here? We go around and around and around we go. This is the same cycle that we saw in the 70s, and it didn't end well. The Fed's in a tough spot. They can raise interest rates to fight inflation, but that will crash the economy. Or they can keep rates low, letting inflation run wild. Neither option ends with a soft landing. But here's the thing, I'm not here to scare you, I'm not. I'm here to prepare you. Let me say that again. I'm not here to scare you, I'm here to prepare you. While most people are about to get crushed by this, there is a way to protect yourself and even profit from it. Let me show you exactly what the smart money is doing right now to position itself for this inflation wave. And if you want to see exactly how I'm positioning my business for this inflation wave, check out the next video and look up here, it's on the right.